This is the heavy metal rebel Frankie Kazarian and almighty Christopher Daniels, collectively known as The Addiction. We are also world travelers, loved by millions, and we both have rears that makes the girls cheer.
You're listening to the Potsy and Tino Show. Keep listening. And you have permission to worship us. Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network proudly brings to you its Tag Team Champions of the World. The Road Dogg, Tino Gray. The Badass, Rob Potsy Potchak. That's right, we are the Potsy and Tino Show. And our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. We're brought to you by the Pots and Pans Network. We're asking and desperately wanting you to follow, share, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube and like the Twitch stream, if you will, please. And thank you to both Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. Yes. The Addiction, also known as SCU.
Yeah.
Hey, Scorpio Sky is going to be a huge star in the industry. But
I've seen him been on in a while.
Well, he's been all over. He's been all over the Dark, which is weird that the black man is on AEW Dark.
Once again, comments made by this guy does not.
Oh, come on! You know that you love me, but no, seriously though, it is kind of weird because he has not really been on AEW Dynamite recently.
Right.
Like ever since he had the championship match against Chris Jericho, he really hasn't been on there. So I'm just stating that he's been on a program called Dark. Username not available. I like watching the Canadian Football League. Did you write that?
No. No.
Okay, so someone on Twitch decided to go ahead and give us their first comment of the night. Not sure what that really has to do anything to do with, but thank you for posting that. We'd be more than happy to listen to any other comments you might have. So, Tino, you know that when you and I are live together,
yes,
we don't have the ability to sit there and put it up on the screen.
No.
But we always like to start with a little segment we like to call,
What's up with you?
What's it called?
What's up with you?
What's up with you?
What's up with you? What's up with you? Look at you.
So, we're going to start with, what's up with you?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Nothing exciting's happened. Like I said, it's been, here lately it's been real just chill and laid back with me. Other than, my daughter's birthday is tomorrow. So that's
So Haley's 19?
20. She'll be 20.
20?
Tomorrow she will be 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and then on the 26th, Matthew will be 11. So yeah, so I got August is gonna be.
So my son is 11.
Shut up. So it'll be 20 years tomorrow. She'll be 20 years old, and then I got a show in Hickory on Saturdays. That's pretty much the excitement of my week. I can't think of anything else that's been going on with me. What's been going on with you? Oh, besides last week's. This is the greatest show.
This is the greatest show. This was not the greatest show this week.
No.
Though we did get the same ginger
Your
to get beat up in the ring again tonight, didn't we? So, you know what's up with me.
Well, I do, but they don't.
But they don't.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and explain to them what's up. So we are running, and when I say we, not you and me, but myself and my buddy Eric Kent are running our first ever Indiegogo for the Junior High Horrors All Ages Coloring Book. And due to this, I said earlier this week, when we hit 15 backers, I was going to do a free sketch. I was going to give it away. And like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was going to give it away now. And because we're live at
11:30
Eastern Standard Time, Monday night, I decided, and because this is the greatest show, I was going to give away a piece of artwork that I did earlier today on a live stream on my Twitch, YouTube, and everything else. That I was going to give away the artwork tonight. So, unbeknownst to Tino.
I had no idea.
Say that again?
I had no idea.
So, Tino had no idea. I said, Tino, I'm going to give you a span of numbers. And you have to tell me a number in that. Tino had no idea what I was doing. He just thought I was trying to figure out his age or something. I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay.
Oh, right, because we all know that you're like 62.
See, that's all right there.
But it's okay, because you don't have any grays because you shaved them all off. That's what I do too. I don't actually shave. I just don't have gray. But
Do you shit?
oh, come on, have fun with it.
Do you shit?
Come on, be good about it.
Because in about 25 minutes, you know I'm going to get punchy, and then you're going to
Oh God, yes, you are. Because as soon as midnight rolls around, you're like a friggin' gremlin. You just get punchy. So all right. So here's the deal, folks. I said, earlier today, I drew Frederick the Scaredy Cat from Junior High Horrors.
It's awesome. It is awesome.
I did a sketch. I've got it here with me, and I made Tino just randomly give me a number from 1 to 17 because we had a couple people that got bonus entries into it. He told me number 11, so I'm going to go ahead and say that Bill Powell is the winner of the Frederick the Scaredy Cat sketch, which, by the way, is 8.5 by 11. This is a full-size sketch. As you can see, it is not small. It is a full-size sketch drawn and colored by me, and it will be in the mail tomorrow, as long as I get to the post office in time. Otherwise, it'll be in the mail by Wednesday. But
Congratulations, Bill.
Yes, congratulations, Bill. Thank you for supporting the Indiegogo. Just so anybody knows, go to Indiegogo.com, search Junior High Horrors, and you can help support the Junior High Horrors all ages coloring book. Something near and dear to me, something near and dear to my buddy Eric. Tino has actually said that he will match all the donations that come in tonight.
Let him lie to you.
Wow. Don't let him. He still hasn't supported it. I've known him for like 25 years at this point.
Here we go. I forgot about the Indiegogo. I'll support it. I'll go online and I'll support it.
But I also want to go ahead and I want to thank some people that actually have supported it already.
Tino.
No, Tino has not. Matthew Torres has gone ahead and donated $50. Jimmy Patel has gone ahead and supported it by giving $50.
See, that's why I don't want to match, because I don't know how much people are going to do tonight, and I'll go home. I got to match, and somebody, $200. I got to match it. No,
Nicole would let you do it.
No,
she'd be like, well, baby Seamus.
Yeah, baby Seamus get his ass whooped. I'm gonna say he said it online.
That's your kid. That's
Daddy Seamus get his ass whooped.
No, but anyways, folks, seriously, Matthew Torres, and I just said the other name, Jimmy Patel, both donating $50 to the cause. My friend Nick Stevenson donating $50 to the cause. Probably my biggest, my comics biggest fan, Edwin Chua, $75 today.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that was awesome. And trust me, you don't have to do that much. We're just hoping that we hit $2,500 over the next 30 days to be able to put out this coloring book. And by the way, if you don't think that you want the coloring book,
yes,
we have specifically set up a $50 donation so that you can give me the address of a children's hospital and we will send it directly to them.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, right?
That's awesome.
Like that is huge. That is and it's because of all the things that hospitals do, children's hospitals, everything that they do, like this is something that is made for all ages. And as such, again, Bill Powell, you have won the first sketch. But don't fret, folks. You want a chance to win a sketch? All you have to do is get us up to 25 backers, and the next sketch will be given away on the next Potsy and Tino show.
Next Monday. So you got a week.
You got a week, 10 backers. Actually, all we need is 9 because Edwin was number 16. He understands he has no chance to win. But I'll even up the ante a little bit.
Oh.
Okay? I'll up the ante a little bit. I like to draw sketch cards. They're little 2.5 by 2 by 3.5, like trading cards. They look like baseball cards. It won't be this size until we hit 25 backers.
Okay.
But if we hit 20 backers of the Indiegogo before our next show, I will do a sketch card for the 20th backer.
So what if you get 20 backers and 25? Can you get a sketch card and a?
So I'll pick 2 for the 20th backing. Anybody up to number 20 will have the opportunity to win that. And I'll probably also give extra opportunities by sharing the Instagram post about it, sharing the Facebook post about it. So that's why we had more backers, more opportunities to do it. And then 25 will be the full-size sketch again.
Nice.
So yes, people will have, and by the way, it's not just going to be the sketch. The sketch is the biggest part of it. I mean, this type of sketch right here can normally go for up to like $75 all by itself, and I'm giving it away for free. But I am doing what I like to call prize packs. So there will be signed comics, stickers, the artwork.
So what do you have to do to do that?
Well, that's what I'm giving away. That's what Bill just won.
Okay, so what is like to get a pack like a
so
you get a picture, a comic, a sketch card, like a pack.
So
like a prize pack.
So to get something like this, the next one that I'm going to give away is backer 25,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it won't be the person who is the 25th backer. It will be a random selection again, because it's not fair to sit there and go, okay, well, wait until number 25, and number 25 gets them. No. But it will be a prize pack. And at 20, I'll give away a prize pack. Okay? So the prize pack won't have the full-size artwork with it, but it could have signed comics. It will have a sketch card. But sketch cards, signed comics, all that type of stuff with it, just because, like, I want to give back to people who want to support us.
That's awesome.
So please give anything you can. Make sure you share it, because when we hit 20, anybody that shares the post that says we're gonna do another giveaway, if we get more people backing it, everything else, by sharing it, if you're a backer, you get extra opportunities to win too.
So if I donate, do I get to run in?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Tino always complains that he doesn't get signed comic books, by the way. That's not a lie. You always complain you don't get signed comic books.
I'm his best friend. I'm his best friend.
So with that said, folks, that's what's going on with me. I actually came up with a brand new comic book idea last week. I talked to you about it.
Are you allowed to say
No.
anything? No.
No. All I can say is that if you like Flash Gordon, you'd probably love it.
I like the idea. The idea is going to be awesome.
Yeah. I'm still blown away by this. I like watching Canadian Football League.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and we haven't had anybody else comment. So I'm going to go ahead into the comments and say, if you are in the room, say hi. And as you can tell, it's on Twitch, it's on Facebook, and it's on YouTube.
All right, well, we'll wait and see what comes up.
Yep, it's on all 3.
All right.
But it is not on the regular Facebook. It's on my comic book Facebook. Like, we for whatever reason, this doesn't give comments to the regular Facebook. It just...
Anyhow,
Yeah, whatever.
let's roll into wrestling.
You
Are,
want
are you ready? Are
to roll into wrestling?
Are you still talking about what's up with you? Is there anything else up with you?
Let's see. Junior High Horror Strangest Thingies may launch as early as January of 2021.
Nice.
Matthew
would definitely like that. 'Cause he's in
Yeah, so my publisher basically said, let me go ahead and say, I was interviewed this week by something called Nerdbot.
Okay.
It hasn't aired yet.
Is it a online kind of thing, or is it a podcast?
Well, it's I guess it's a little bit of everything because it was a video interview with me and two other, one artist, one writer, and they have 775,000 Facebook followers. 750,000 Facebook followers.
Wow.
And they interviewed me.
Nice.
And it's always funny when I do something like that because I'm always the least known guy.
Mm-hmm.
And yet,
not for long.
And yet, as I do these interviews, like everybody's always like, "Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about." Yeah. And I don't know anything about it. Like I fake it real good. Hell, when I met you, our friendship was because I faked it real good.
That does not sound.
No, it didn't. But but I told everybody I could sing.
Oh yeah.
And I faked it real good. Right.
Yeah.
You even let me up on stage one time, so.
I don't know. I think I was drinking that night.
You're always drinking something. Like tonight, water. I mean, apparently that's enough to get you like, this guy can sing. So. So did an interview with them, and then hopefully there's something coming up called Mainframe Comic Con on August 15th and 16th, so Saturday and Sunday, and hoping to have something on that. Trying to work out the details right now with my buddies at the Comic Corps, but yeah. So, but the big thing right now for us is getting this Indiegogo funded. It's really important to us. We're about a little bit less than a third of the way there. We got about 22 days or so to get it funded without extending the goal. And, like, we've got some pretty good perks on there. Copies of the book. Heck, we've got 2 of the original covers.
Wow.
So the actual cover that I drew for the Indiegogo project and the cover that Eric drew for Junior High Horrors number 5 are both available to purchase. And then on top of that, I didn't think that it was fair to just give you the artwork. So it was like, you get a digital copy of the book, you get a physical copy of the book. I think you even get a signature on the book when you do that one.
Nice.
And I think they're fairly well priced. I mean, my original artwork is on the same size as this, so it's 8.5 by 11. The colorist did a great job, but unfortunately, all the artwork's in black and white because it was digitally colored. But I think we set mine at $125.
Wow.
And like my sketches, I charge $75 for. So like a full cover that I did for $125 is actually probably a steal, And then with Eric's cover, I think we're doing it for $200. And I mean, like on the open market, that thing could get $350 easily.
Wow.
So and again, it'll get digital copy of the book, physical copy of the book, pretty much all the perks that are available. It gets a little bit of everything. And we've got some cool things planned if we actually hit the goals. So when did I first get into drawing? Longer than I've known him. So I've been drawing. I think the first thing I ever drew, I was 4 years old. I think I was in kindergarten, and I finger painted something that was red, blue, and yellow, and I told my mom that it was Superman, but it was Superman flying, so like it was smeared.
Nice.
So it actually did look like if you saw the blur of Superman. Terrence.
What did it say?
It says Brawl for All 2020. And Terrence.
Yes, dude, I did not like it.
We are going to talk about that when we truly get into the wrestling stuff. So that's Eloy. I want to make sure that I'm saying it correctly. So Eloy, yes. But recently, professionally with artwork, I've probably been a professional artist for about 3 years. Part of my deal. I said it right, Eloy.
Nice.
So part of my deal as a professional writer with Keenspot was that I told my publisher that I wanted to be able to do at least a variant cover for each of the comics that I worked on, and since then I've actually worked on covers for other people as well. So it's been pretty cool. But at the same time, I've also done about 28 pages of actual story work. So I've not only done just covers, but now I've actually done real like storyboards and everything else in the comics as well. So that's it's pretty cool because I never thought that I would actually be the interior artist of a comic.
Right.
You know, like I knew I could swindle my way into getting some covers and stuff. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. It started out as, and you know, I even look over at Tino as I say this. It started out as something where I kind of felt like I could swindle my way into being able to do some covers, but when the opportunity came up to actually do some original artwork inside the book and stuff, the first time it was kind of because it was needed for our free Halloween book that we did, and then the second time was because I told Eric, the artist of Junior High Horrors, I said Eric, you've been doing all of these issues, haven't missed a deadline yet. Tell you what, how about you write 8 pages and let's see if we can still get it done on time, and I'll draw those 8 pages. And
How'd that work out?
Oh, it got done on time. But then this whole coronavirus thing happened, and we're still waiting for that one to ship into stores.
Gotcha.
But it will be coming. It will be coming, and it was actually it was a ton of fun.
That's awesome.
Because one of the things that Eric and I do for each other is I help him. Anytime you write something, I help make sure that it's formatted and everything else and get it in there the way it needs to be. But how did we meet? Oh, that's a funny story, actually.
Make sure he's not talking about Eric. He's talking about how we meet.
Yeah, no. So Eloy, are you talking about me and Tino? Okay, so he's saying
Sort of wrestling. We met over. So I'm a musician. I have a band, and been doing that for a while, and stumbled across a karaoke show. I don't even remember how I found out about Arnie's
in Durham, North Carolina.
In Durham, yeah. I stumbled across it. I like karaoke, so I had a bunch of friends that did karaoke. So when I wasn't on the road traveling with my band, I'd be here doing karaoke. So I went out one night to Arnie's to do karaoke, and I think it was you and Fubar.
Who was underage at the time?
Was Derek here yet, or was just you and Fubar?
Probably. I mean, like we all knew we all got to know each other from that.
Okay.
But
what?
It was.
But I came by myself, and that somehow ended up with you guys.
You did, but it was me. It was Fubar. It was Tish. It was Leisha and Lee.
So I met them through you?
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering why. I can't remember how I met them.
Because
okay.
we all met at a Ruby Tuesdays.
I remember that story.
And then
Lee wasn't know enough to get in. You're like, we know a place.
She was like 17 at the time, and I think I was 21, 22 at the time, and somehow my buddy John, who we call Fubar, pretty much sat there and said, what are you guys doing later? I guess he was trying to pick up Lee, and you know, all of a sudden Lee's mom Tish is sitting there going, oh, we love singing karaoke. Oh, we'll go sing karaoke. And Lee's like, yeah, I love singing karaoke, but I'm too young to get in. And we were like, oh, don't you worry, we got a place.
We got a place.
And Tish, Lee's mom, was sitting there like, what do you mean you got a place? I'm like, well, he's not old enough to get in. Not you,
me,
but John wasn't old enough to get in either. And we're like, we know the owner. You can get in. Don't worry. And of course, we ended up going to that place that night. And Tino was up there singing Hootie and the Blowfish songs, which is funny because I was saying this earlier tonight. His Twitter handle is HootieFan91, but I didn't know that at the time, and I don't even know if you had a Twitter. I don't know if Twitter wasn't around back then. No. So, but Fubar and I kept going Hootie when he would go up and sing because he'd always sing Hootie and the Blowfish songs.
Because people always want me to sing.
Because they were so popular at the time, and you were
had
good
that
at
baritone
yeah,
voice,
and you,
like Hootie.
yeah. So of course we were all Hootie, and then before you know it, like I think Fubar actually said, "Hey Hootie, I'll buy you a drink," and you were like, "Well, yeah, I'm not gonna pass up a free beverage."
Because I was there, I'd gone there. I think by myself, and to this day, I still do the same thing.
This is a redneck bar.
I won't go anywhere by myself. Yeah, that too.
It was a straight up redneck bar.
I'm scared.
and he walked right in, he comes up but
Nona told me about it. That's how I figured out it.
Yeah, you probably, so Nona was actually the person that ran the karaoke.
And I worked with Nona doing karaoke shows. That's probably what it was.
But what the funniest part about all of it though is towards the end of the night, what our redneck bar is like, you and I are both like,
yeah, probably. If
Tino's not normally allowed in a redneck bar.
but I walked in, but nobody messed with me. Nobody messed with you.
And you know that's what made Arnie special is that
everybody got along.
Is that it smelled like racism. It reeked of any type of like this is gonna be a bad night.
And yet I'm a big dude too. But they didn't say anything to me. I'm sure they said stuff about me when I wasn't anywhere around, but nobody came.
I don't know, because if you think about it, Arnie, the owner,
what's he like?
Was Filipino.
Filipino, yeah.
Yeah. So it had this. And
it's weird. It's a weird vibe.
You know what it was? It was because before Arnie bought it, it was a straight up redneck bar.
See, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Like I don't even. All I know is like I became friends with Arnie where like Arnie used to look at me and call me Toys R Us, and the reason why was because my very first credit card was a Toys R Us Visa.
Got it.
So that's how he knew who I was. I was the guy that had the Toys R Us Visa. But anyways, so towards the end of the night, Tino and I are sitting there. We're bullshitting about pro wrestling.
I don't know how that came up.
I don't either. But that's how some of my best friendships started. Is I'm just sitting at a place, and before you know it, we're talking about pro wrestling, and Tino's sitting, I guess,
opposite,
perpendicular.
Yeah, something like that.
Like a 4 tabletop. He's sitting to my left, and this blonde. I can't remember.
That wasn't the same night.
Are you sure?
Nikki, that was a different night.
But that's when we really cemented our friendship.
Yeah, that was a different night.
Was it?
It was a different night.
I thought it was the first night. I know you
then. Nope.
Right, because you and I were actually sitting
at
together.
The bar. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we sat at a table. So the way that we really became like some of the best friends ever.
I took a punch for you.
Not for me.
Oh, that's right.
It was the other dude.
There it is. So tell me. And we've told the story on the show before, but you're new, so. So, Nikki. So, there's this short blonde girl named Nikki, and Nikki and I we were all friends.
Nikki had some amazing.
Well, because she just got them done. So
right.
Nikki had breast surgery.
Enhancements.
So she came up to me at the bar. She was like, "Hey, Tino, da 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 da." She goes, "I'm like, those are new." Those are new. She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "But feel how real they are." So I'm like, I'm feeling. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, there's this drunk redneck beside me, and he was going fake.
But he actually poked into the boobies.
So this dude is behind me, and he comes over me to do it. Nikki's drunk. Nikki goes to swing, and I don't know how, she managed to hit me in the nose.
Like, pop, right center of the nose.
And Rob laughs.
I'm
like, why?
Well, the great thing was you didn't start bleeding from it. It didn't break your nose. But
I think I saw it coming up to kind of.
For me, like being someone who was drinking at the time and everything else, all I saw was like I literally it was like watching something off of Sesame Street where someone like grabbed the nose or whatever, and the other guy is just sitting there and he's laughing, and I think he even laughed so hard that he fell backwards
off the stool
and fell off his stool.
And Nikki immediately felt bad.
So now Eloy wants to know, what is it about pro wrestling that brings people together?
It's just because yes, wrestling is scripted and it's fake.
Fake.
Yeah, because you don't want to say the fake because obviously it's predetermined.
Right.
But it's just
and we know wrestlers. So we don't want to.
We have friends that are wrestlers, but it's just I don't know what it is. It's just something that. It's like a subculture, dude. If you find somebody who is into it and knows the intricate storylines and knows all the different characters and grew up watching it, it's just something that you can agree on, and it's something that you just have parties and just sit there and talk about. And it's not like everybody. You can have white, black, everybody.
But I think what it also is that it is a niche.
Yes.
It's a niche or niche, whatever. You have to get it to be able to talk about it.
Yes.
Like, if you don't get it, like my brother-in-law Shane. My brother-in-law Shane is like, I don't know how you can watch grown men wearing next to nothing sit there and, like, oil up next to each other. And he's right, but yet, for us, it's never about watching the oiled up men. It's about storytelling. It's about the fact that it's pretty much like what I tried.
When I was a kid, it was like superheroes. It was, and that's what his good guy.
Those who know know.
There you go.
Yeah, see, Terrence knows. He understands. But Eloy, it's what it is. Really, is this? It's not just those who know. It's also we like a certain type of storytelling. And because we were grabbed by it as younger audiences, we have grown up with it, continue to watch it. But overall, it's really the superhero aspect of these people and what they do. And while they don't fly, while they don't have superpowers, sometimes you look at someone like Rey Mysterio, who's 5'3", 170 pounds, and you see that man fly around and take on people 7 feet tall, and you're like, there's a David and Goliath story.
And then you see the big, chopped up, like Superman. There's like muscles.
Then you really do see the guy like Superman.
It's just, it's all inspiring, and it's just
the Adonises.
It's that, and not only that, it's like these big guys to be as athletic as some of these guys are. It just amazes. It's amazing.
Ultimately, I look at it as two dance partners, right? Same way that an audience would look at Dancing with the Stars. And if that performance does not go over without a hitch, then people get hurt.
Yes.
And I mean, Darren Drozdoff,
oh God,
broken neck, with a person who is normally pretty safe in the ring, D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
Stone Cold got his neck broken by Owen Hart. Owen Hart,
who died,
dropped from the rafters because they didn't check it out and take care of him. I see what you're saying. The kind of story goes way back in time to like Bible, and sometimes. I mean, it.
You had in WCW you had Rey Mysterio, Kevin Nash.
Lawn dart.
He lawn darted him.
But
he lawn darted.
But it's not always as far back as something like the Bible. I mean, there really are only like 8 stories that can be told.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can look it up on the internet, and they recycle every story. Like if you watch The Mandalorian, for example. Sure, Samson's a perfect one. But if you go back and you watch like if you literally go and watch The Mandalorian, all 8 episodes of The Mandalorian are one of those 8 stories, and each one of them goes a certain way. Kurosawa was definitely all about making sure of that, and if you watch The Mandalorian, you can see that. I specifically, if you watch the very last, have you watched The Mandalorian?
I haven't watched. I need to go back and watch
All right.
it.
So if you watch the very last episode of Mandalorian, Eloy, I'll tell you right now, it is Terminator 2. Okay? It's a 45-minute version of Terminator 2, directed by Taika Waititi. So the guy that directed Thor Ragnarok also voices the robot in the movie, or in the episode. But the fact is that like that entire thing, the way that it's written, storytelling, everything else, there's no real difference to it in pro wrestling. And you know, if you're not a pro wrestling fan, you're probably going to get really bored by the second half of this show.
Yeah, because we're getting ready to get into wrestling,
and we do it every week, but we always try to make sure that we include everybody for the first half, and then specifically focus on the pro wrestling side the second half, because so much happens in pro wrestling on a weekly basis. Like, I really kind of wish Terrence was on the show with us this week, because he'd be able to tell us what happened with the Botchamania podcast pay-per-view thing that they did with that.
we do need to get him on the show.
We do, and we will. Do I take after my mother or my father?
I don't understand that one.
Probably a little bit of both. My dad was very hardworking. My mom at 71 years old is still very hardworking. So I work a day job. I bust my ass at it. I don't like doing what I do half the time, but yet I continue to do it, continue to actually strive hard, and on top of that, work so many other things. Like the original artwork that's being given away tonight to Bill Powell.
What does that one say?
That's awesome to hear.
I'm ready.
Terrence says he's ready to be on the show next week.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm almost wondering, do we do it live from his place of business? Oh, we can't.
We
can't because North Carolina does not allow drinking after 11 o'clock now.
So we'll either have to do it like
so he can come over here.
Either that or Skype it like we do when I'm at home and you're here. We could probably get him on. Can we do it that way?
That way I could easily do, but if we had all 3 of us, we could all sit in the same room
together.
That's up to both of you. Shane and Michelle will be gone next week, so we can.
We'd have to make room here in the Scrudio.
Yeah, the Scrudio. It is still a nice Scrudio,
I don't
though.
know if we have enough room for everybody.
Maybe we just get like folding chairs that
Possibly. There's one right there, so he can have
There's
the
I'm just saying if we all had folding chairs, it would definitely take up less space.
This is the Potsy and Tino show. I don't think we need. I think guests should have to sit and fold. Sorry, Terrence.
So Terrence says he's off next Monday.
All right.
So Terrence, you get a folding chair. Across the back.
He said I'm off on Mondays.
Across the back.
Dude, what we do, Terrence, and if you're off, it's cool. We watch Raw here, and then we come up to the studio and do the show. So if you're off on Mondays, we can work it out.
We can make it happen.
All right, so
we can make it happen.
Let's get into it.
So Eloy, thank you for all the questions. You are more than welcome to hang out.
Please stick around, dude.
But we are going to talk about pro wrestling now, specifically.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I think we got to start with the two big interview segments from Wednesday night.
Okay, which you didn't see.
What? No. I saw the MJF.
Okay.
So you're going to talk about Keith Lee.
Well, Keith Lee pretty much was in the ring, and he was very, very, very pissed off at Mr.
Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross.
But I heard that okay. So you know I now listen to Busted Open.
Yes.
So I'm listening to Busted Open. Terrence says he's swinging the chair once. So I'm listening to Busted Open, and they're talking about. You know what? I'll take a chair shot.
Yeah, cool.
Once in my life, I'll take one. I thought it was going to be with Phil. No.
Why don't I get to swing it?
Because you're not going to take care of me.
Of course I take care of you.
No. But I heard that Keith Lee still took it as pissed off as I am, I'm still cool as a cucumber.
He did, but you can tell and it almost, it's one of those interviews where it could have very well been a shoot. I mean, it was that damn good. He pretty much said, you know, pretty much Dijakovic's a big boy. He can fend for himself. He said, but he didn't appreciate having to stand back and watch. And he cussed a couple of times, and he told him, Cross. He said he said you want this title. He said I'll bring the title. He said, and you come. He said I will beat that ass.
So they kind of went away from the Rocky IV story, right? And even from there, I'm a little disappointed about that. I really like the idea of Dijakovic dying on his sword and Keith Lee having to
Throwing in the towel.
well, protect it, and then being the guy that would win, at the end kind of thing with it.
I think they are going to, because I think it's too early for Karrion Kross to get the title. I think he's going to finish his story with Karrion Kross, and I think they may even come back around to Dijakovic and Keith Lee, because they've wrestled before, but not for the NXT title. So I think they're going to come back.
No, they did, because it was title.
Both really.
Titles were on the line. But I will say that I do kind of feel like their intention is to rebuild Dijakovic.
Yes.
Because he's too good.
For a big dude, yes. He's awesome.
I mean, he's like 6'6", and the dude is
agile.
Fast.
That's
like fast, agile, powerful. I mean, like he is a bigger Cesaro.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
And because of that, like he's got all of the things that Vince would love, but yet for some reason he's won 2 matches all year.
I think they're doing. Yeah, they'll probably repackage him.
I don't know if it'll be a repackaging, but I think it'll be a rise from the ashes kind of thing, like at the same time, I agree with you that I think Karrion Kross is way too early, but I prefer the way that they're building him over what AEW has done with their guys that have gotten the title shots. Murder Hawk, Brian Cage, heck, even Brody Lee. Like all 3 of them have gotten title. Well, Murder Hawk got a TV title match.
Yeah, he didn't get a world title.
He didn't get a world title match, but he's kind of proved he doesn't deserve one.
Well, I mean, if you're going along that same, Moxley really came in and pretty much, even though he did have a long feud storyline with Jericho, he did just come in, and when he came in, he automatically got, he automatically got into contention for that title.
But he was there at the beginning.
Yeah.
So he was the first guy that they were building towards that.
And don't get me wrong, I love Moxley. I like this character better than I like the Dean Ambrose character, but I think it's because it's closer
to who he is. And at the same time, like the other thing about Moxley is that Moxley has proven to be a ratings giant.
Yes.
Like he is a guy that people who tune into pro wrestling watch.
No, not Jericho. He's a demigod.
So I'm going to tell you right now.
And actually putting that on his.
Oh, I know.
I'm like,
and I'm okay with that, except for the fact, that we have not seen a breakdown of quarter hours.
Yes.
Back in the 90s, when we would watch Nitro and Raw, and we'd have to do it with a VHS tape player, not even a DVR. Okay? What I would do is I would because it was on 25 and 26 were the 2 channels. And in fact, even now, 25 and 26.
Yep.
Okay, I love it.
Yep.
You just hit up, down, whatever. But what you'd have to do is you'd have to record one and watch the other. And I got to the point that even though I was watching one and recording the other, I would flip.
No, remember Nitro came back on. Remember it came on back to back.
Yeah, well, it wasn't back to back. They'd have like something for an hour, and then they have the. But for those that haven't watched all that and aren't as old as us, the idea behind it though was that you would always want to figure out
which one's better,
and the ratings for it from Nielsen would come in every quarter hour. And you would actually see, like, if Hulk Hogan was on Nitro, you'd get a bump. If Steve Austin or The Rock was on, you'd get a bump. Like, it wasn't this. It was this.
Yes.
And it's because those guys commanded audiences. Steve Austin, who was never anything in WCW as Stunning Steve Austin, was suddenly stunning everybody, giving everybody the Stone Cold Stunner, and before you knew it, he had everybody in college, anybody from the age of 18 to 50 was
50 maybe?
Yeah,
Because they were going for the 18 and 40.
The rating now is 18 to 49, but that rating would pop because of him. When
The Rock.
Well, when The Rock started, it didn't do that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until The Rock became The Rock. And, we probably need to talk about Dwayne Johnson and his ex-wife and what they pulled off today. But The Rock, yes. The Rock did it. The biggest quarter hour of all time,
Nitro messed up.
was when Tony Schiavone said, "That'll put butts in seats."
And so at the time, what was going on is Nitro was live and Raw was taped. So, and then Nitro would try to keep people from flipping the channels like we were talking about. They would give away what's going on Raw. Well, what they did this night is they gave away that Mick Foley Mankind was going to win the WWF at the time championship.
That's actually the second highest rating of all time.
And so when he said that, he's like, "Yeah, that'll put butts in seats." But when he said that, people changed the channel.
Changed the channel.
And that
knowing that in that last hour, they were going to get to see something special because the WWF at the time was going to actually have a title change. But that's the second highest rating. The first highest rating, believe it or not, Tino, and nobody except for the two guys involved will want to admit it, is
This Your Life.
This Is Your Life
Rock
with The Rock and Mankind, where Mick Foley had Yerple, the
coach,
the coach,
the girlfriend, the teacher,
the former girlfriend, everybody come out, and The Rock was like, "Do you like pie?" And he's like, "The Rock doesn't care if you like pie,
It doesn't matter what you like." And
it doesn't matter.
Because the best part was at the end, he was like, "Happy birthday, Rock!" Like, The Rock's birthday is until March, you silly bastard.
And it's May 3rd, by the way.
May 3rd, that's what it was.
But
you silly bastard.
I don't know why I know that.
I don't know either. That's weird.
It is.
All right.
But while we're on the subject of The Rock,
all right, take a side street.
How crazy is it to think that The Rock? Okay, first of all, let me put this in perspective. The UFC about 4 years ago was sold for $2 billion. Okay.
Yep.
Now, no one person at this point owns the UFC. It's owned by a firm that actually, they're an agency, they're a firm, they've got tons of shit, but overall, the UFC is worth $4 billion now. It's worth even more than it was when it got bought. The Rock today, with his ex-wife Danny Garcia and their business partners, straight up bought.
And how much for how much first? Where you say? Was that $15 million?
$15 million. So 10% of what The Rock earned last year. Bought the entirety of the XFL. Now, Tino, this is what I don't know. I don't know if The Rock already has TV deals.
Well, he's at $7 production, so I'm wondering if he's going to put that behind it.
But my point is that, like, when it came out and Vince McMahon had it, he had deals with ESPN, he had ABC, he had Fox. I mean, they had deals. So they were going to have a program. They were going to have it on TV.
Now, so I wonder if he bought all that. I'm wondering, like, if he bought, like, Fox. You know what I'm saying? If he bought the whole thing, I wonder if he bought the TVs and all that, too.
I mean, you own the league. Whatever deals are in place, I would assume you own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure if those deals defaulted because of
The
coronavirus.
Okay.
So let's just say that those deals are not in place. Rock, I'm going to give you some advice.
Oh, Lord.
No. This is good stuff.
Okay.
Okay? And you know, hey, get Seth Rollins to beat up Triple H at your NXT pay-per-view
Just get on with
to
it.
set up WrestleMania. Oh, wait, no, I said that the very first episode we ever did of this show. And what happened?
Please.
What happened?
I'm not helping you because make your head bigger. We're never going to get out this door. Finish what you're saying to The Rock.
But what happened?
The Rock is waiting for you to finish your sentence.
All right, so Rock, here's the deal. Every one of your teams, no, stop it. Stop it. This is good.
Okay.
Every one of your teams should have a docu-series on YouTube to help people who want to actually understand who your teams are and who the people are that playing, who they are. So you set up a docu-series on YouTube for each team. Each team has their own YouTube page, everything else. You do a weekly drama, whatever, explaining like what's going on during practices, whatever. Remember, the XFL was all built on people making $50,000 a year unless they were the quarterback, right?
Okay.
So what are they doing outside of that? How are they helping their community? What are they doing around all that? Actually set up an hour-long program per week on YouTube. Boom.
I can dig that. That's cool.
Doesn't cost anything to broadcast it because it's on YouTube. But you can earn revenue from people watching it, right?
Yep.
Then you establish your teams, your fans, everything else directly from that. Okay? Here's what else you do. You put your season on starting after the NFL draft.
Okay.
Okay? So you let the NFL have its entire season. You let them have up to the draft. You start your season the week after the draft. You go until the NFL is supposed to start their training camps and everything else. And then everybody that gets cut from the NFL teams is in your draft.
Got it.
And you do your draft at that point.
Got it.
So you've established a way for people to become fans of your team. You've established when your league is actually going to play, which everybody wants football all year long, so you just put it in the months that football is not. And then, because you're not going to be drafting your players from the NCAA like the NFL does, and you're probably going to want to establish your league as a G League or something else, you have your players get drafted from the people that don't get NFL contracts. And I think that's how you establish a league.
That's not bad. You actually.
I'm available.
You actually thought about that.
I did. And I'm available. They can hire me.
You're a whore. I mean, you're trying to get money any way you can get it.
The Rock will tell you. It's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
You know, and again, the man earned $139 million last year and bought an entire football league for $15 million. So, getting back to wrestling.
Where were we?
So, I watched the MJF interview.
And what'd you think?
He is a prick.
He's good. He's good.
Like,
He is a villain. He is definitely what a heel should be.
I want to punch him in the throat.
And that's why he's the future.
I don't want to punch him in the nose. I don't want to punch him in the chest. I don't want to sit there and have a wrestling match with him.
Well, you know what it is.
It's that hair.
No, he's better than you and you know it.
He's not better than me.
That's
He's not doing half the shit I'm doing.
yeah, well, that's his tagline.
I mean, I can draw.
You don't know. You might be able to draw.
We haven't seen it.
Okay, well.
I can write.
Anyway, get back to his promo. What did you like? Did you not like it, or you just? Or
No.
Did he do his job to make you get? He got under your skin.
He's that good.
He got under your skin.
Now, here's the thing that irritates me. How many matches have we seen of his?
but he got hurt very early too.
Did he?
Remember he was out with the.
But,
I think he legitimately got hurt, but
was
they were like,
was it like a pinky injury?
yeah, there was something like that. But he was legitimately hurt, but they had it to where like he was hurting his finger.
Here's what I worry about with him. I worry about him playing the role of the heel so well that it gets too much in here, and he suddenly starts telling everybody what they have to do in their matches with him.
Yeah.
He's too green.
Yeah.
Like, as a wrestler, I'm worried that he is not going to be good enough to maintain that I'm better than you attitude.
I think he will, and I think if he listens and has the right people in his ear.
That's the problem, is that he is telling everybody, I'm not going to listen to shit.
I think that's his character. I don't think that's him.
But see, that's what I worry about.
You
because
think he'll become the character?
I think at some point he may.
Okay.
Now, granted, I think having people like Cody in his ear
because you had the
should
Rock.
prevent it. But hold on.
Okay.
I know.
The Rock was arrogant and like that, but he was able to keep that.
But he ate his own ass at the beginning with that pineapple top.
Yeah, I'm talking about when he became the Rock.
Sure, but
he had that same MJF.
There were a couple things that caused that, and MJF may get some of this rub too. But with the Rock, the WWE needed the Rock. So when he went on that meteoric rise, there were two guys.
The Rock and Stone Cold.
There was him and there was Stone Cold, and they kept them apart until January, and then at January, like, you saw sparks coming off as those two would collide on everything, and then it wasn't just sparks.
It was money.
It was like setting the world on fire with money, and the unfortunate thing is, the only guy that they might be able to do that with MJF, there's two, with MJF. There's Jon Moxley, who they're now immediately going towards, and there's Chris Jericho.
Don't sleep on Sammy Guevara.
Sammy's got to get himself to even MJF's level.
Yeah, okay.
Especially after being off TV for a month.
You know who else I think has that heel and gets under my skin because she's that damn good, and you don't even pay attention to it until she starts talking. It's like nails on a chalkboard, and she's not even wrestling yet.
Britt Baker.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no. But
Yes.
they're taking the exact same approach that they took with Randy Orton. When Randy Orton got hurt,
And was doing the updates.
and he was like, Randy Orton is at 87%.
But she's not even
this
doing
week.
that.
But she's almost doing that. She's like, Tony, pay attention to me. That's what she's doing.
And I love that. She gets on my nerves, but when I think about it, I love the character. I love that.
I love that she still calls Rebel
Reba.
That's what I love. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Except they literally, point for point, are playing her like Randy Orton back in the day. Because Randy Orton would just, like, all of a sudden you'd see Michael Cole, and Michael Cole would be like, Michael Cole here, and hello, Michael, it's Randy Orton. I want to let everybody at home know that I'm at 86% this week.
Hey, yo.
I had to step back.
Britt, what?
Oh, it's our good buddy Carson.
And what'd he say?
He's saying Britt is far and away the best thing in their women's division, and she's not even active. You're absolutely... Well, Hikaru Shida is probably the best thing in their women's... Hold on. It's because she can actually put together a match. And while Britt is getting healthy, Shida is wrestling matches.
Yeah, this is true.
But
Britt's my favorite.
Carson,
Britt's my favorite.
in terms of storytelling and everything else, you are not wrong, my friend. You are 100% correct. She is the Randy Orton of that division. And there is no higher praise, my friend.
Okay, now, and that's good. But while I'm thinking about it, I want to get to...
Well, we were talking about MJF.
Oh, yeah.
What do you have to say about it?
MJF, I'm done with MJF. I was going to go to something else.
How could you be done with MJF?
I told you he's the best heel right now going. I love MJF's character.
I love listening to Busted Open Radio and talking specifically about the fact that MJF, like Bully Ray keeps talking about it. He's like Chris Jericho's a good heel when he needs to be a heel. MJF wants you to punch him in the face. Like, he makes fun of handicapped kids when they want a signature. And that's what I really wanted to say here, was that I don't know if he actually has that conversation backstage where he can actually talk about the match, because he's probably sitting there going, I'm going to wing it. Like, that's who he is. That's his character. Everyone says that he's that all the time. So
but then again, you gotta live that character. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with the Undertaker. If you watched the last ride, the Undertaker even said he lived that character. He was Undertaker 24 hours a day. What do we got?
Oh, so Carson was just saying that Sheeta isn't bad, but she needs to have something to elevate her. And without a doubt, you're absolutely right. I just think that she is a placeholder holding that division until Britt Baker gets back.
She's a good hand. I think she's a Steve Austin before he became Stone Cold.
She's probably the most solid worker they had. She's like a Kurt Angle.
Okay.
She's a solid worker, but you're never gonna. And unfortunately for Kurt Angle, I mean, he's probably one of the top 10 wrestlers of all time, and yet you never really wanted to build your division around him.
No.
You just knew that if you needed somebody to cover for a year, this guy would be able to hold it. And so, Carson, I completely agree with you, without a doubt. Like, you're not wrong with what you're saying. I totally think that Britt Baker, if they do her right, what they're going to have to do with her is let her make sure that she is putting together solid matches, because we've now seen with the Knockouts champion.
On which one? On
the new one.
On TNA?
Yeah, Knockouts champion.
Oh, Purrazzo.
Deonna Purrazzo did everything she could after she got laid off by the WWE to sit there and prove that she actually could put on the best match on the card. And on the Impact pay-per-view, proved at Slammiversary that she did put on the best match of the card. So that's what Britt Baker needs to do, and that's what people like Sasha Banks have done. That's what Bayley has done at this point. Like, they not only are showing that they deserve to be in their position, but they've earned that position because they really have been the best show on the card.
And I hate them, and they're doing their job, because I hate
you.
those two.
You hate them.
I hate them.
You hate them,
and I want to see them get their ass whooped, and it doesn't happen. I'm like, ah.
I know.
But they're doing their job.
We're going to talk about Sasha's match tonight because I was really hoping, and I did not like the way that match went. But
I was confused. But we'll talk about that too. But I want to get back to what I was saying. Who is this Ultimate Warrior wannabe
Warhorse?
Warhorse.
First of all,
the way they hyped him up.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Eddie Kingston for getting a contract with
Eddie Kingston is for
real.
real.
Because as Bully Ray said it, and I got to credit where credit's due. Bully Ray basically said, Eddie Kingston made you believe every word that he sat there and said before his match. He made you believe it during the match, and Terrence is talking about how he loves Karen and her best friend. But Bully Ray truly made you understand that Eddie Kingston is his gimmick. He made you believe it. He made you love him, and he earned that contract, bar none. And he is now.
I think that was the best match that Cody's had for that title.
Sure. It's the paying of the dues, right? Yeah. Like all of a sudden Eddie Kingston pouring out thumbtacks. We all almost always in that moment think, well, I guess Eddie Kingston's going into those thumbtacks.
Yes.
And it didn't happen. And it made me go back to the Backlash 2004, Randy Orton versus Mick Foley. By the way, only the second match Mick Foley ever wrestled as Mick Foley. At that point, First one was WrestleMania 2000. Blah. But second one was that match. We all thought that when Mick poured out those thumbtacks, Mick was going in. And no, that wasn't how it worked. Orton took him. Orton paid his dues that night. In fact, I watched that match. I think I told you. I think I watched it like a month ago. And I was like, man, I love that match. I love that match. I wanted Mick Foley to win. I mean, he even got thrown down a flight of stairs before that match. So I was like, oh, Mick's going over.
Yeah.
No. And it was only for the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
It wasn't even for the world title. And yet Mick knew that what his job was that night was to make Randy Orton a generational star. And I'll tell you,
and he did. That's
what Britt Baker needs. She needs someone that is going to make her a generational star, because as good as she is, because she is amazing.
I'm trying to think of who that could be.
Adam Cole.
Shut up. But the
Kidding.
Warhorse, back to Warhorse.
Yeah, this carbon copy, six ways, like faded print version of the Ultimate Warrior.
Right.
What's up with Warhorse eats ass? What's this?
Kicks ass. I don't know what it is.
Bites ass, does ass, owns ass.
I don't know, but
shoots ass.
He
was all right. For Cody's matches, I mean,
yeah, but
it wasn't any worse than the Sonny Kiss match.
That was a good match though. The Sonny Kiss match was good. I think that was better. Like I said, the best match he had, and to have that match after the week before he had Eddie Kingston, you're like,
yeah, it's the wrong time to have that match. At the same time, though, the other thing that happened that a lot of people don't like is that you got Matt Cardona showing up at that point. And it wasn't Warhorse that made the save. It wasn't Warhorse that made the save. It was...
They call him Strong Island now.
Strong Island?
You didn't hear that?
I can't make an S.
I don't know. What's that?
It says Nightwolf. I guess that's Warhorse.
Okay.
But either way,
so Matt Cardona. Why aren't they happy about Matt Cardona coming? I didn't hear that.
Because here Warhorse was having his moment, and it got completely shunned over by
Warhorse lost.
But when the Dark Order came down, Warhorse pushed Cody out of the way and went to take down those guys, and immediately got kicked out of the ring, and then Matt Cardona came down and made the save. So it had a lot of people thinking that should have been Warhorse's moment.
I can see that. Okay.
At the same time, the other thing people don't like is that suddenly they're feeling like AEW is getting way too oversaturated with WWE talent. And the thing that I thought was funny was I saw this post that said all ex WWE. AEW.
So let's go back. We got Matt, we got Brody, we got the Murder Hawk, we got.
Murder Hawk wasn't WWE. Yeah, not recently.
Okay, not recently.
That was a long time ago.
So Matt,
Cody, Shawn Spears, Chris Jericho, Jack Swagger,
Matt Hardy,
Jon Moxley, Matt Hardy,
Brody Lee. Did we say
Brody Lee? You said. I mean, the roster's 50% WWE. Vicky Guerrero, Arn Anderson. I mean, but Tully Blanchard. I mean, it is 50% WWE guys. It's always going to be 50% WWE
but
guys.
Then, okay, I can see where you're coming with that, but you can also...
Nightwolf from Mortal Kombat is what he said.
But you can also see where, yes, they're ex-WWE guys, but they weren't being used, so you didn't really see them on WWE TV. You know what I mean?
I think the difference, though, is that like when Impact did Slammiversary and Eric Young showed up, it made sense.
And EC3,
because they were Impact guys.
Yeah.
And granted, AEW's only been around a year,
mm-hmm.
a year and a half at this point. I get that, but if they were New Japan guys that went to AEW, I kind of get it.
Or ROH.
But it really is. Hey, this guy's Cody's friend.
Oh, the Good Brothers, the Revival. God, you're right.
Yeah, the Revival, absolutely. And
No,
I
the Good
even,
Brothers. I'm sorry, they're
they're an
TNA,
Impact.
sorry.
Yeah, but I even told you, like, when it comes to the Revival, they should have went around the world first. Like, they should have. Now, granted, it's a different world, folks. So when the Good Brothers say, hey, we're gonna work with Impact, but we still have the ability to go over to New Japan when they're wrestling, that's fine. We're not allowed out of the country. I get it, okay? If that's what FTR's contract is, good for them. Because if those guys aren't the IWGP World Tag Team Champions as soon as the world opens up, if they're not the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions when the world opens up, if they're not, every one of those, they're
Kinda
not the greatest.
Like the Dudleys did.
They're not the greatest tag team ever. It doesn't matter what they say. If they can't prove it, it doesn't matter. And they need to prove it. That's why Jon Moxley said in his contract, I want to be able to wrestle in New Japan. That's why Chris Jericho said that.
So you see where's the longest reign, and it's the second reign of the IWGP US title. What was it? Yeah. He's the longest. He's at like over 200 some odd days now, the champion.
And he's not able to defend it. But they're not giving it to anybody else. But New Japan doesn't have the 30-day rule.
Yeah.
So, but, okay, so...
Sorry.
No.
No, we got sidetracked.
We totally did, but we got sidetracked for a good reason, And luckily, I don't have to work early tomorrow, so it makes it a little bit easier for us to continue talking about this. At the same time, for those of you that are not subscribed to the channels, or at least following the channels, please do.
So our new friend now can see why we can sit here and do this all night.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. SmackDown. AJ Styles versus Graham Metalik.
Yes.
Excellent match.
That was a good match.
I am going to say that AJ requested it.
Probably.
I think AJ wanted to have it. A guy like Graham Metalik. Yes, he's fast. Yes, he's sitting there bouncing all over the place. But overall, it's a safe match.
Mm.
So I think someone like AJ sits there and goes, I want a night off. And Vince goes, well, AJ, I need you wrestling. Well, all right, I want to wrestle this cat. And it just takes care of itself. Like, AJ is that good. Like, in fact, I look at what they're doing with AJ Styles right now, and I think to myself, it's what AEW is trying to do with Cody.
Yeah, but AJ's not really. He doesn't want to have an open challenge every week where Cody's like.
But recently, AJ's been wrestling every week.
They made him. I mean, storyline made him.
But AJ goes out there.
Yeah.
Matt Riddle,
Oh, God.
Drew Gulak, Graham Metalik, Daniel Bryan. I mean, like, how could these not be good matches? Did you hear Matt Riddle actually came out and talked about him wanting Brock Lesnar again?
He's got suicide wish or something.
This time, he actually said, and I'm not directly quoting or anything, but he pretty much said, listen, I know I ruffled feathers going on to social media and saying I want this guy. This time, instead of saying, like Goldberg, that guy sucks, I just wanna beat his ass because I can beat his ass. He said, I want Brock. And the reason I want Brock is because he's the full package. He's got everything. He is everything. He is the man. He has established himself as being able to beat anybody, anytime, anywhere. I want that. So
that probably, I like the way that sounds better.
And then he said, so I know he probably hates me because of how I handled it. But I'm going to get myself to the point where I'm worth money and he has to say the match is worth it.
and I think he can do it.
And,
I really think he can do it.
And it's funny because he says that, but then he gets in the WWE ring and he gives an absolutely atrocious interview.
Which time?
Every time. He's terrible on the microphone.
Again, though.
Because it's written?
Yes.
And
I think if they let him, I think a lot of these guys, if they would let them go off script, I think the only ones we said tonight, the only one they're really letting do what he wants
Kevin
to do
Owens.
is Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
I think
Tonight was great.
I think I think some of these guys can talk. They just need to let them talk. I'm not saying everybody. It's a select few. Don't get it twisted. Not everybody. Some of y'all, they need to write for you. A lot of you. But like Kevin Owens, I think a Ciampa would probably be good without being scripted.
Yeah. Ciampa, Johnny. I mean, a lot of the
I
NXT.
think Keith Lee would be good unscripted.
I think Keith Lee is less scripted right now.
Yeah.
But I think that he's gonna have to dig down and get angry, like real angry, like. And I don't think it's gonna be. I'm sitting here right now and I'm angry. Like,
No,
I think it's gonna be someone gets in his face, and then it gets angry.
As much as I love Big E right now, I think we need to go back to the Big E when he was AJ Lee's bodyguard, that mean heel.
So Dolph's bodyguard.
Was it Dolph or was it AJ?
I think it was both, and then he went like this and slapped her in the titty.
Yeah,
one
but
time.
I think he needs to get me because we've had this happy-go-lucky, and I love Big E, but we have always said if you go heel and you become white hot as a heel, then go back to being a baby face, you'll be good. I think we need to send him, maybe have him turn on the New Day, and just make him just this monster heel.
Right, because
and I love Keith Lee, but I agree they need to make him mean. So he can run through everybody.
Because right now, Big E,
and they had parts to that if you saw, and I loved it when it happened. Big E was like playing with the Miz and in the ring until the Miz slapped him, and you could see the change, and that's character. You could see the change when he got slapped and he came back, and Miz helped him by playing it like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you've got to do that because the Miz would have been like, it wouldn't have worked.
They always talk about that when Triple H
and
Mick Foley and Mankind was like,
and he came
I can't do this the way that I need to, so I'm going to bring out a guy that can. And then Cactus Jack came out and Triple H
like he saw a ghost.
Sold it. I mean, like that orange skin of his from being spray tanned turned white. You know, it turned this color. You know, like
alabaster.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, all right, Tino. I love the idea that Big E's getting a push. I hate the fact that they're taking Kofi off TV to do it. Because I think Kofi would be good as the guy in his corner. But I guess...
Maybe they turn heel on Woods because he's been gone too long.
I don't know. I think that at this point, what we might actually see is just them separate and then bring them back together when they need them.
That's what they did for the Shield. That's what they did for DX. I mean, that's
but the Shield actually separated and and all beat each other up for months because they don't know how to do that. But I don't see Big E suddenly being a Braun Strowman competitor.
They're gonna have to build him up. I mean, I don't think they should push him.
But I think that based on his attitude right now, like where he is right now, he could easily go up against AJ Styles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Intercontinental.
But I see him being talented enough to go after the WWE Championship.
Not now, though.
No, he'd have to have like I think he'd have to. He'd literally have to sit there and be laughing, and then completely like stop, and then like beat somebody down. Like no laughter at all. Like ha ha ha.
And
I
I think
ain't
you
laughing.
saw a glimpse of that when the
Right.
Miz slapped him Friday night.
Right. And because of that, like him versus the Miz right now is a perfect way to start showing that stuff. But at the end of SmackDown, Nikki Cross.
Happened on SmackDown.
Not really. Nikki Cross against Karen, Mega Karen, and Mega Karen wins. Nikki Cross.
And I thought that Nikki was going to turn on Alexa. You said probably not.
But Nikki pushed Alexa away.
Yes.
And then she left because she was disappointed by everything. And then
The lights go out.
And then we get something that the WWE basically says they don't want to do, which is have a man attack a woman.
And I didn't think he was going to. He kind of teased. I thought maybe the lights would go off and come back and they will be gone and do the whole laughing thing that they do at the end. You know what I'm saying? I did not expect him
to actually put the mandible claw.
So we're talking about the Fiend. The Fiend came out after that. The lights went out. The
Fiend came back. The Fiend put her in the mandible claw. She didn't scream. She just and unlike a horror movie where you get the all that stuff, you got what a real reaction from somebody in a horror moment would be, which is complete fear, like complete shutdown in fear, and I thought it was great.
Now, we saw a glimpse of this in the horror show.
Yeah, when she showed up as
Sister Abigail. So do you think? So you think he attacked her because she is, and they've said, and they even put it on the show that, and I think one of her segments where she did Moments of Bliss.
As Braun's weakness.
Nobody caught it. She said, Braun's one of Braun's best friends. Nobody caught that, but she did put that out there. So
Braun's weakness. Not because she's Sister Abigail. Although
do you think they'll make her Sister Abigail?
They could. I'd be okay with that.
So I'm wondering what they're going to do.
What if all of a sudden, and okay, so I'm going to say it right now. There is nothing out there that says what's going to happen with this story.
No.
You want the writer in me?
Oh, here we go.
Here you go. Okay, what does the mask for the Fiend look like?
Like a clown.
Well, it looks like, and because you're not a comic book reader, you probably don't know this, Tino. Carson, you probably know this because you are a comic book reader. It looks like the Joker mask when the Joker cut his own face off. Okay? So, what was Alexa Bliss's character when she first came into the...
Harley Quinn.
Exactly. So what if all of a sudden they decide to turn her into Sister Abigail, but instead of just making her Sister Abigail, she'd be Alexa Bliss, but she'd be...
The old Alexa?
But not even the old Alexa. Like, they'd actually whiten her face a little bit, put her in pigtails again, and suddenly have her just act crazy as Harley Quinn to the Joker. Terrence says yes. And so, folks, when that happens,
here we go.
You know where you heard it from first.
And I had a Rob moment tonight on Raw. I told you it was going to happen. You're like, that's going to happen. And it happened.
Oh.
I kept saying that.
So let's get into Raw.
Let's get into
Raw. At the beginning of Raw,
the lights kept flickering. And we were like, and it wasn't live because we've been noticing that night, and I've been watching now.
Tino kept asking if it was because of the hurricane.
And I asked you, I said, when did they tape this? And he said Saturday. And I'm wondering if they knew that the storm was coming through Florida, so they were trying to make it like the hurricane was coming. There was make it seem live.
Yes, we noticed Ruby's green hair. It was very green.
Very green.
With a little bit of yellow at the bottom.
And I was noticing this week too. Remember, I asked you, I said, with the tracks, I started wondering if they're going to pull it out like they did a couple of weeks ago.
But they did not.
They did not.
So, so anyway, at the beginning of the episode, first match was that the
Poison Ivy.
Terrence, that's stretching it. But but with the Alexa Bliss, I really do think they're going to try to come up with their own Joker and Harley Quinn.
Or they went Harley Quinn out of not Eve. Damn it. What's her name? Liv Morgan? Because she's
no.
Because like you You watched the Harley Quinn.
Oh, I did.
So you know how.
Yes, they could very well
Yeah.
try to put the two of them together, like the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Especially since Bully Ray thinks they're gonna have Mandy Rose shave her head in a hair versus hair match with Sonya Deville. Yeah. But that's him. I don't really think that. I do think that we're going to see a complete character change for Alexa. That's going to make her really seem like
Alexa or Mandy.
No, Alexa.
Okay.
We're talking about Raw now.
Okay.
Although she's a SmackDown character, I guess now.
What was it?
Her partner also had the Harley Quinn thing. Yeah. Liv Morgan, I was telling Tino tonight, I would love to see her go back to the blue tongue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
She had fans that were doing the blue tongue. I don't know why she doesn't want to do the blue tongue thing anymore. Liv Morgan had the Harley Quinn look and colors
before Alexa. I think she had more
when they were in the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
But she had the pink hair. She had the And what that really was, Terrence, more than anything else, was Liv Morgan, and she even said this on Table for Three, was her trying to get herself over as not looking like the same as all the other girls. So she was trying to do everything she could to look
different.
To look different. Alexa did the same thing. Alexa came up at the same time as the Four Horsewomen, and yet for whatever reason never won the NXT title. So when she came to Raw and she came to was she SmackDown first? She was SmackDown first.
You want to go that way? I mean, that's the same thing that I'm just getting late. My mind's blanking. The chick NXT, the ex-champion in NXT.
There's a bunch of them.
No, the recent one that lost to Charlotte Flair.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, when she came in, she had the long blonde hair. They were comparing her to Charlotte Flair. That's why she cut her hair and made that drastic change too.
I think she truly wanted to drastically change because she was a different person than wanting to be compared to Charlotte Flair. But you're right. She when she came in, she was long haired. She was slender. She was tall. She was athletic, and definitely better than just about everybody else that was around her. So when we look at Raw, we had the Hurt Business at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And MVP versus Apollo Crews. Apollo won the match, takes both U.S. championships, and says, and this is the way to write off the old one, I'm going to put the championship that Daddy won
in the kids' room. Hanging up on the wall.
And then I'm going to hold the one that P, talking about MVP, bought just to stick it to him pretty much.
Yeah.
Then, of course, they immediately go to an interview with MVP, who's pissed off because the lights are flickering and everything else, can't figure it out.
A lot of people yelling at the announce team because he started that at the beginning of the night, yelling at the announce team.
Yeah, he yelled at Tom Phillips, basically saying, "What kind of show are you running?" And it's not like Tom Phillips is actually running the show.
Yeah.
He's not the director. He's not the producer. He's literally commentary team. However, that leads to a good moment in the show. Shelton Benjamin then starts talking about how his title got stolen when the lights are going out and everything else, and no one knows what's going on. And then about
towards the end of the show.
Well, like with about an hour and 10 minutes to go, Shane McMahon shows up and basically says, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something called Raw Underground that we've been doing all night. But before that, we got Kevin Owens being the one guy on the roster that doesn't have a script.
And put off he did a hell of a promo.
He did. He brings out Ruby Riott, who Terrence brought up a little while ago. And Ruby starts talking about how she's really upset that when she came back, she wasn't able to talk to Liv. Kevin Owens says, well, that's great that you say that. Hold on a second. It's because I'm bringing out Liv Morgan right now. And he actually sounded like a Maury Povich or a Jerry Springer or something. It's like, Hold that thought, but before we go to the commercial break,
Now, before all this, he met up with the Iconics backstage, and they were trying to get on his show, and he's like, "No, I already planned my show." He said, "Have a water," and he walked away.
well, he was like, I'm a big fan of Australia, so on any regular night, I'd be okay bringing you onto my show, but tonight I already have guests, and they're like,
Yeah, and so when you saw Ruby Riot, you knew immediately.
that was going to cost something.
Yes.
But you thought initially that it meant
Yes, I
that
did.
we were going to get Bianca Belair to come out.
No.
Well, initially, because you thought you were going to get the Iconics and Bianca Belair because that's who they've been putting together recently.
No, I thought it was going to be Liv Morgan turning on.
Oh yeah. Tino for some reason was all about like people turning on each other tonight, like Liv Morgan comes out. In fact, didn't you even say something like you expected Apollo to turn and join the Hurt Business tonight?
That was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So tonight he's sitting there and he goes, wouldn't it be great if all of a sudden like Ruby Riott or Liv Morgan turns on Ruby Riott and joins the Iconics? And I said no. And he's like, why not? And I said, because that'd be stupid. Pretty much what I said. Then later, you said it again when you wanted someone else to turn on someone else. And I couldn't remember who it is. But we get towards the end of Raw. Like I said, Shane McMahon is running this new this new in the room next door to the ring. The lights are off. Raw Underground. And you've got the Viking Raiders fighting just random like dudes backstage.
Well, at first it was like guys you didn't even know who they were.
Right. Yeah, and he kept
on.
talking about this one 7-foot tall guy that was just like throwing people around.
He's pretty
There were no rules. There were no ropes. The referee basically got in and started throwing people around from time to time. And we got.
I hope it's one off.
We did get. No, I don't think it is. We got a good promo between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton.
Yes.
Because Randy Orton basically said, "Hey Drew, why don't you try to tell me something that no one has ever said to me before? Why don't you try to do that?"
And that's why I asked you. You think he went off? Not went off script, but do you think that was a shoot? Do you think they said, "Hey, say what you're going to say"?
No, but I do think that when it comes to Randy Orton, there probably is less in terms of full scripts to read, but Drew still seems like the type that probably has to make sure that he memorizes his lines. But it was a good promo. Like, he sits there and he goes, "Randy, you should have been fired 5, 6, 7 times, and I got fired once. You should have been fired 6, 7, 8, whatever times."
Because you are who you are, pretty much.
And Randy just kind of sat there and took it.
My favorite part, and you pointed out to me, I wasn't really, where he's like, "Well, how many times have you been in the ring to put somebody over?" And Randy's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
He's sitting there saying, when you were at a bad spot in your career, Edge lifted you up and brought
And
you
the Undertaker,
back.
yeah, he was in
The Undertaker said he brought you up to you said that the Undertaker brought you up to his level. And then Drew's sitting there saying, "How many times did you bring anybody up to your level?" And Randy's sitting there going like this. He's literally saying 0 times did I do that. And I was blown away by it. But I think about it and it's like
just true.
because I just talked about Mick Foley coming out of retirement and bringing Randy up to his level and even making Randy pay his dues. Like everybody has to pay their dues. And that's one of the reasons why I think Cody took the spot against Eddie Kingston last week, was because Cody doesn't really think
He's paid his dues.
he's paid his dues. So it's like, I haven't done the shattered glass spot. I haven't done the thumbtack spot. I haven't done the barbed wire spot. So I'm going to do these to prove that I really am the business, right? And I still look at that and it drives me nuts because I don't know if Cody's supposed to be a babyface or a heel. And Cody says, I'm not either. And I don't like that. Because I look at him and I go, with as smug as he is, he's a heel.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, he does everything right for the business like a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
So
confusing.
So he's not a good character.
He's a tweener.
But he's not a good tweener.
Yeah.
Like, because he doesn't go up against heels and then baby faces and treat the heels as if he's the baby face and treat faces as if he's the heel. He just is Cody. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, because like MJF, you've got, like, you literally want to kick him in the dick.
But see, I do kind of like that. You don't know which way he's going.
I don't, because I don't know if I'm supposed to cheer or boo when he sits there and he goes, like, I don't know. But I don't know what that is. Like when I do that, it's because I got to take a shit.
Get back to Raw.
So, okay.
Get to my part. Towards the end, that's when it all starts with Ray Ray's son, who is now being called Dominic Mysterio. Is he going to come out to the...
Well, hold on.
That coming up, Scott?
Hold on. Before that, backstage, Kevin Owens.
Oh, we got to talk about the poison thing, too.
Yeah. Terrible. Kevin Owens.
Oh.
Had a run-in with Ric Flair. And something is not right with Ric Flair.
I knew you would say that.
Like, I think he was drinking out of the same thing that Montez Ford's been drinking out of.
Oh, I thought you were going to say about his hair.
Oh.
You paused the show and like, what is that?
So, yeah. Ric Flair should shave his head. And he's got the weird mullet thing going.
The Hulk Hogan.
It's not quite a skullet because he's still got a little bit up here.
But he's got a thing in the back like Hogan.
But yeah, but he grows the mullet in the back. But him and Kevin Owens had this run in, and Kevin Owens is basically like, well, I really appreciate all the advice you want to give me, Rick. But if you really want to see where I am in my career right now, why don't you come down to the ring next week and watch me take on Randy Orton? Which has us both thinking that Kevin Owens is taking the big L. I don't want to think that because he did beat Seth Rollins before Seth Rollins' match against...
So is he just not going to be putting people over, a jobber?
I don't think so. I think they know that Kevin Owens could instantly be main event caliber. Like, because he's that over.
Yeah, but they're not using him like that right now.
Who do they use like that?
I don't like that.
They use Drew like that. That's it.
Yeah.
And Bailey. Sasha.
Apparently Orton.
Maybe.
Anyway.
And then like you were saying, Montez Ford apparently was poisoned tonight, which, by the way, I believe is attempted murder.
My favorite part of the whole segment was at the end. So I don't condone poisoning, but when they were coming out of the dressing room like they're being poisoned.
Well, before that, as we notice something wrong with Montez Ford,
he's sweating.
He's sweating profusely, and then it stops, and he's completely dry. By the way, that would not happen, but Tino says to me, if they're going to make this seem real, his wife needs to come out.
Bianca needs to come out.
And she didn't.
But she came out of the trainer's room.
But then when they went to the trainer's room, Bianca comes out and goes, oh, you're going to tell me what the fuck's up.
Now, this is my favorite part of that. Charlie's got the microphone because she was doing an interview. No, wait. And then Bianca came out to get into Zelina's face, and she didn't like what Zelina had to say. Bianca just went like this, and Charlie's like, nope.
And she literally went,
Nope.
And she just walked off screen.
Because she knew what was about to go down.
Yep.
She was like, nope. That made me laugh. Rob's like, what? I'm like, you didn't see that?
And I backed it up and I watched it and she just ducked out.
But you saw her go, nope.
It was like the Akira Tozawa against Shayna Baszler where he's like, I'm out. And he just ducked out of the ring. And that was like they start. First of all, they brought in the chick from The Bachelor. She's hot.
But I'm surprised she didn't come. They didn't finish that because he came back and gave that rose to Charlie. I thought she was. So when Zelina came up, I thought it was the blonde chick. I'm like, oh, it's about to go down.
But yeah, so The Bachelor's sitting there watching Angel Garza, and then all of a sudden it's like,
we're done with her.
Well, now we're just going to try to pick up Charlie, and it's like, well, she obviously is sitting in front of a camera. She sees that happening. Like I guess she's not going to give the rose next week to Angel Garza, but or however that show works.
Yeah.
But
you watch that show, you know how it works.
No. I listened to Mel Kiper actually talk about it though.
Watch that show.
I wish.
Anyway.
Because they're hot. Actually, when I do watch that show, I like to commentate. So I sit there and I completely make fun of like the things that they're doing. Even my sister tends to laugh at what I'm saying during it. But again, if Montez Ford was poisoned, it would be attempted murder. However, your favorite moment happened.
Yes, finally.
Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy walked down to the ring. And Seth Rollins just gets in Tom Phillips' face.
For some reason.
He's like, you started laughing at everything, Tom. You laughed.
And I'm watching Samoa Joe.
And Samoa Joe's like.
And I'm like, Joe's getting ready to get up. He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, and it reminded me of the time when people would get into JR's face and the King would stand up for him. I'm like, Joe's getting ready to get up. I'm like, has Joe been cleared? Like, we don't know. And he's like, he's not getting up. I'm like, Joe's getting ready to get up. And what happened?
And well, then Buddy Murphy walks up, and
that's my favorite part of that too.
And he can't even get in to sit there and point at Tom Phillips. But then Joe sits there and he goes, I don't think you're going to do what you think you're going to do.
No, what he was doing. No. It was even worse than that. So if Buddy is standing here, Joe is still talking to Seth, and he's like, and your boy, and he wasn't even looking at him. He's still talking to Seth. He's like, he's not going to do anything about it. I'm like, oh my God.
It's like, if you need me to take care of this guy, I'll do that, and then I'll take care of you. Like,
and Buddy was just standing there like,
and
his finger was like this.
But the best part of it was when Joe stood up, Buddy Murphy backed away. And then Seth Rollins sits there and goes, get in the ring, Joe, let's do this. And then he got hit by a kendo stick by Dominic.
Dominic wore them out. And then he accepted his challenge at SummerSlam.
Like,
but then Joe sat back down.
Yeah, Joe sat right back down. And suddenly
but my favorite said, Joe said, if you think he was laughing, I was laughing harder than anybody at the announce table. I mean, I'm like, Joe's going to get into that.
And here's the thing.
And you know, I didn't have to ask my question because I knew where he came from. I didn't have to use my catchphrase.
You didn't have to use the catchphrase. Where the F did Joe come from? The thing about that is that we don't know if Joe's cleared. But because Joe didn't get involved, it worries me that he's not.
So why would they do that?
To tease it. To see whether or not you get the ratings pop.
I think you would. I think either Joe does that or I'd like to see Joe in that.
Well, remember
the Shane McMahon.
Right before Joe got hurt, filming a commercial.
He was in there with Seth. What he mixed
it was Seth and Kevin Owens, and Authors of Pain, Joe and Buddy Murphy.
Yes.
And it went all the way to the Royal Rumble. And the Royal Rumble, Joe got thrown out, and that's like the last time we saw him. And Kevin Owens got his WrestleMania moment, his victory against Seth, beat Seth again. So Kevin Owens is on kind of a streak against Seth. But you're right, they do still seem like they're just kind of like jobbing him out. Like it. I mean, Angel Garza beat him twice. Like that's Angel Garza should never beat Kevin Owens. This is the whole, not even just 50-50 booking. It's just we need to build new stars. So what we're going to do is have them beat our established stars, but they shouldn't beat established stars.
You skipped over the women's match. I'm sorry.
Which one?
The one that confused us. The Asuka, was it Asuka and no, who was it?
Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks.
I forgot about that.
No,
I didn't understand that ending.
Let's go ahead and talk about that. Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler have a backstage segment.
She punches the
Yes. Shayna Baszler punches the shit out of Sasha Banks. It was great. Like
awesome. You laughed. We all laughed.
Yeah, I like that. Like pretty impressive. At the same time, they have a match. Not for the championship.
Just a match.
Asuka comes down
and attacks Bayley.
Who is not part of the match.
And the bell rings.
Yeah, I did just repeat what you just said. And the bell should not have rung. Because last week, when Kairi Sane got pulled out by Bayley, the bell didn't ring. Asuka did not win the championship. So why is this match under different rules? Terrence, Carson, help me out.
If they're still there.
I'm hoping they are. It's been a little while since they wrote anything in the chat, but just to be safe, I want to ask them.
But while we're waiting, though,
okay, Tino, go ahead and give us the answer. Why would they have different rules for this match? Now, granted, that match was, if you get counted out, you lose. If you get disqualified, you lose. Yeah. This match
had nothing like that. And then the backstage segment too, when Bayley and Sasha were showing a little video, and you tried to fast forward it. When Asuka came up, I'm like, dude, stop. Like, it's not going to be in English anyway. And what happened?
It's the first time she spoke English.
What happened?
Still couldn't understand it.
You're so full of caca. You're mad because you were wrong.
She basically said, Kairi hurt. Barry gone. I wrestle Sasha.
That is not how it sounded.
Pretty much. That's pretty close.
You can get us thrown off because that, we're gonna get.
What?
That's racist.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, somebody wrote something. The Asuka Banks match stipulations ? Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. There were no stipulations.
Last week, there were stipulations.
Last week there was stipulations.
Tonight, but we're talking about tonight with Sasha and Baszler. But why, when Asuka came down and
Asuka attacking Bayley should have had no inclination or any stipulation on the match, is what we're saying, and that's where the issue comes in, is because Asuka should have been able to come down, grab Bayley, take her out of the entire arena if she wanted to, drive her up I-95 to Boston, and yet it should not have caused a disqualification. I'm just saying, it's like when you're in Orlando, you can just go right up I-95.
Oh, cool. What else?
You got more?
Mr. Tim, what was his name? Pat Buck.
Yeah, what's up with Pat Buck?
Well, apparently he sent.
Like, are they trying to send a message to Sami Zayn?
He sent Nia Jax home indefinitely.
Yeah, he did.
And then got headbutted in the chest
again.
So.
And he's now been stripped of his clothes twice.
I don't think she stripped him clothes. She just kind of like pulled his coat down over his arms. Like
well, let's be real. There, so. He can't even dress himself. Apparently, like his attire was horrible.
I'm telling you, it was that Mark Henry retirement thing when he faked retirement.
He was wearing a blue shirt though with the salmon. It wasn't even a cool salmon. It was like uncooked salmon.
It's 1:15. What do we got?
1:15?
Yes, sir.
Wow, we've been going a while.
Yes. I gotta go to bed. I still got a 30-minute drive.
The Hurt Business.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll finish up.
Okay.
The Hurt Business. My computer's probably telling us it's time to reload it. The Hurt Business decides to take over Raw Underground.
And they fought nobodies. Except Dio. Whoever.
Dio Madden.
Yeah.
Dio Madden, the former WWE commentator, made an appearance tonight and got the Hurt Business.
And then other than that, there was nobody.
And it wasn't like matches happened. It was like Brawl for All.
So are they taking over that? Is that their thing now?
I don't know. It hurt my head.
I didn't like it at all.
It was terrible.
I don't think it's going to do anything. I
Um,
don't think it's going to help ratings. I don't know why. What?
I mean, if there's a story to be had from it, okay.
Is that because I was like the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, who's going to step up to these guys? And maybe it's too early for somebody to step up to these guys.
But it was weird because you had the Viking Raiders actually fighting in the underground.
Dolph.
And then you had Dolph Ziggler fighting in the other. A week after he fought for the WWE Championship.
The only thing I can see, and now I told you this, I can see maybe if they bring Killian Dana, because that's up his alley of, I think that would be something up his alley. Maybe they do that to build him.
Yeah, and I was thinking that maybe you build somebody up through that, and then
Bring Thatcher up.
hell, have Kevin Owens fight in that setting.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe make the Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton match a Raw Underground match. You know, and I don't know, like have, because we all expect Kevin Owens to just get beat pretty quick. Have him just like they go to sit there and hit each other, and he just immediately gets hit with an RKO, and it's done. You know, except that's the kind of thing that kills a character completely.
Yes.
So these no names getting beat up, that's fine. Like, I thought it was weird that they, for a TV PG show, they're sitting there showing 3 almost naked women dancing constantly.
And they almost got in the fight.
Yeah, two of them almost got into a fight. And of course Shane's like, oh, keep it down, ladies. Oh, let the Hurt Business do their shit. It was terrible.
Terrible.
It was
Horrible.
atrocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I'm punchy.
You're getting there. All right.
This is the greatest show.
So hold on, before we actually say goodbye,
Oh, damn it.
want to once again go ahead and say congratulations to Bill Powell winning the sketch.
Yes.
It'll be sent out in the next couple days.
I want to say thanks to all these commenters, man. I think that's what kept this. That's why we went long today answering questions and walking down memory lane. Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. Time flew by. I didn't realize what time it was, dude. This is what we like to do. We like to have this. Yes, it's a wrestling show, but we also want to have that chance for you guys to get to know us and who we are. And we like this question and answer thing. So that's awesome. Thank you guys.
On YouTube, subscribe to the show. YouTube.com/Rob Potchak. Twitch, go ahead and like the show, follow the show, Rob Potsy Potchak. But seriously, help us out on the Indiegogo for the coloring book. It helps us actually continue working on other comic book projects going on. Got 2 junior high horrors books going on, but I do have something that, like I said, is like a wrestler in a Flash Gordon universe type thing that I'm working on right now. I really think that it's the type of thing that you could totally see a WWE superstar playing the role of on a sci-fi channel, especially after watching that really shitty looking animation thing that they've got going on.
You were so bitter about that.
It looks horrible.
He's jealous.
I am jealous. but it looks horrible. Like, contact me. Like, we could get some real animation. I know people.
Oh my God.
But no, seriously, we need supporters on the Indiegogo. And Tino, let's see if you can get my Twitter correct.
I'm tired. You are at Potchak.
Right. Now my Instagram.
Rob Potchak.
YouTube.
Rob Potchak.
Okay. Now you can go ahead and do everything else.
And I'm HoodieFan91 on Twitter, SCTino on Instagram. We are on Twitter. If you look for the Potsy
I won't do it, but go ahead.
On Twitter, you look for Potsy, Potsy and Tino, at Potsy and Tino. I think Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. We want to say thank you, as always, to Adam's House Cat for our theme, the wrestling song, which you can buy on iTunes for 99 cents. And as always, on that big hill in Charlotte, we hear Ric Flair, and he is saying, "Woo!
Randy Orton's gonna get you. Randy Orton's gonna get you." Like, whatever he's saying now. Like he's just senile.
What about Orton?
Woo!
Or Charlotte.
Everybody wants to be the next boy, but I am the man of the hour, the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. Make you scream, oh! Like Jared Power, there have been many imitations, but only one, Nature Boy. I am the greatest thing going today. Whether you like it or not, you better learn to love it, because whether you like it or not, I am the greatest of all time. Woo! Tony Schiavone, to be the man, you've got to be the man, and I am the man.